Wow, Clara. Listeners, how do you guys feel? They probably freaking like it since it's all they watch. I have a hive growing on the side of my side. Can I show you? It is literally so bad.
Que es un hive, como un eczema. Brianda.
Wait, they can't really see it, though. I don't want to pull too far off. But it's literally got other things and sometimes it's just bad.
Don't they have a solution for that? Like, can you? Wow, that looks like como una medusa de pico.
It happens all the time. Every time I move, that's all I see.
Oh my god.
Look, you can even see. Look at.
Walk more towards the phone, and now turn around. Look. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, you're actually showing your ass. But... For the show, I mean, we just condemned everyone selling ass.
No. They should know. I don't think that's like a bathing suit. I don't know. I didn't show much. Like every time you're talking and every time I'm talking, when I get these hives, the blood rushes towards them.
And
like
it's burning.
Even when I'm not stressed, but when I'm like passionate, I feel the blood rushing. Y me duele. It hurts me so much. For those of you guys who don't know, I have chronic stress hives. I've had them since I was 14.
That's
like
crazy.
Imagine being a performer where I would have stress by just excitement of performing. I would have to take Benadryl before.
And that should make you sleepy.
Yeah, so I was like high on stage. I could have taken Claritin, but it didn't work as well as the Benadryl. Anywho, we're having this conversation, and it's literally. By the way, I didn't have any hives on the Lexapro. No hives.
Oh my god.
But I also.
But you put on weight.
I gained weight. It's like, give me the hives. Yeah. Give me the hives, babes. I want skinny arms.
Weight, no sexual attraction whatsoever.
No sex drive, which is actually fine.
Which is now it doesn't really matter, you know. But
actually
makes it easier.
Maybe I should get back on the Lexapro. Ooh. Hey, Father. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing well. So, what are we talking about today? Ooh, okay. I was waiting for this day. Alrighty, call back later. You guys, this week we're gonna talk about obedience. Welcome to another episode of Bible Stories with me, Brianda. And of course, my road dog, my baby forever, my work wife, Ben. Ben. People are like, who's Ben? La-Clara NYC. Benina. For those of you who don't know what I'm referencing by Ben, also, Clara, hi, say hello to the people.
Hi. I said it.
Hello. Ben is one of my favorite comics, Tim Dillon's like engineer, B-Mike, like he built the Tim Dillon Show, the podcast with Ben. Mm-hmm. For me, in my eyes, Ben is an integral member of the Tim Dillon Show. They go everywhere together. He's awesome. And I say it again, and you both are very hot. You both are very attractive. Like a couple years ago, I caught myself like being like, okay, if I saw Ben, I didn't know he was in a relationship at the time, but I was like, if I saw Ben at a live show, I'd be like, hello, Ben, how you doing? Are you Christian? He's fine. Clara, what's your type? Like, what do you think is fine? Because I just said like a white Midwestern guy, which is not typically my type.
I mean, you don't want man. I think my man's fine.
Your man is very attractive. So you like the brown skin. You like very athletic. I don't know why this accent has come up. This accent comes up when I'm like trying to come up with stuff. Cut that out. No, your boyfriend is very attractive, very nice. More than
like
physical,
clean, like visibly
clean,
like clean, like taking care of. You know, fresh haircut, clean nails. You care about looking good. You know, like good dressing, whatever. Like you dress nice.
He really does.
That's very superficial.
I mean, it is superficial, but
we're talking about looks, yeah. So it has to sound like it.
Hey, man, I think God wants us to present the best version of ourselves when we walk outside of our home, and also our home should be a reflection of that. Like. I think that God wants us to be someone who, like, I mean, my nails aren't manicured right now, but your boyfriend's hands are definitely always more manicured than mine. Like, that's like what I'm saying. He's a very clean, put together guy. I guess that's kind of cool. I like gross guys typically, like disgusting, rugged.
Oh, you said that in the past, yeah, like
grungy. I mean, but just because I want that doesn't mean that that's what God wants for me.
Yeah, no, but we're talking about like a type, like what physically what calls you, basically, no? Look, it catches your eye.
I feel like
what's your eye candy?
I definitely don't have a type for race. I don't care what it is. I guess if there was something that I'm like, ding, it would be like a Middle Eastern, like tan skin. But I really don't care, truly, as long as someone can take a joke, is not easily offended. Obviously, Christian first before all of those things, and kind.
Oh, yeah, I mean, for sure. I thought we were talking about just like eye candy, like just physical. To me, yeah. Other things that are crucial that you need to have besides looking clean and
physical. What are things that crap. Oh, a smile. I love teeth. I'm a teethy. Like I am. That's something about your boyfriend, that he has great teeth. Yes. I always I'm just like, and I'm not even talking about the shape and it's about like he takes care of his teeth.
You know, yesterday, I think it was, I was thinking about, maybe that was me that I was wrong all this time. I thought good lips made a nice smile, and I just realized it's teeth. Like you can have perfect lips, but you have bad teeth and you smile. But if you have lips and perfect teeth and smile, it's like, wow.
Yes, you're totally right. Oh my God, wait. Hi, Tangi. We're going to come back to this. Sorry about last week, guys. I had lipstick on my teeth. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to. My girl Clara has OCD. She was editing it. Could you imagine her,
I was literally editing like this.
You guys, we're trying here. We're still indie. I feel like those kinds of things just... That's the difference.
That was my mistake, though. I should have called that out.
It's okay, man. It's fine. I think that it's just we're indie. Like shit like that happens.
That way natural, okay?
Yeah.
That shit happens in real life.
Yeah.
Same way we fart, we have lipstick on our teeth.
Oh, but I'm not gonna lie to you. It just really, and my teeth are so white. It was really like.
Would have been mine. You couldn't have really told.
Stop doing that. Stop it, Clara. Like she said, my nude lipstick blends in with my teeth. No. This is what I want to talk to you. Did you see that tweet that Cardi B reposted? And it was about what women should get done, BBLs or teeth.
Oh, no.
And she said women should get their BBL done first to pay for the teeth. In my head, I went, oh my gosh. You already know how I feel about veneers. I hate them. I don't like veneer culture. And
you already know how I feel about using that ass to get your teeth paid for.
Wait, are you going to use your ass to pay for your teeth?
No. I'm going to work my ass off.
That's right.
To pay for my teeth.
That's right. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's kind of like a nice little discussion ahead of our conversation around obedience.
Oh, wow. Okay. Look at the beauty of life.
I know, how poetic. I was thinking the other day, like, wow, I have done so many things in order to be more obedient in the sight of the Lord. I'm going to say this in another way, I'm going to exemplify what I just said. I used to be a sugar baby. You already know this. It's my other podcast, Super Trip Talk. I used to talk about it all the time. And I'll break it down my version of sugar baby because everyone has their own story with it. This was a man who was a bar regular of mine who, honestly, I've never seen a man believe in my talents more than that man. Like it was really weird. And to find a sugar daddy that like wants to support your dreams, and not want to, I never, like, literally after I left that bar job, because I stopped working there, I stopped seeing him 2015. I haven't seen him since.
Wow.
And he's still, like,
You always saw him at the bar? Like, you didn't hang out after
never.
the bar?
Yeah. Yeah. And then after the bar, I started a beauty blog. He paid for the cameras. He paid for, like, my editing equipment. Dude, normally sugar daddies don't want to pay for anything that will advance your career. They, like, if you say, oh, I want hair extensions. I want to get shoes. They'll pay for all of it. But the second you're like, could you pay for a program that could help better my career, my future? No! Like, it's normally that's how it goes. But I say all this to say, as I was, like, obviously, when I gave my life to Christ, I would feel convicted anytime I would, like, receive money from him. And I'm talking about, this money was very helpful. I mean, it would help me pay a lot of bills, and it wasn't something that, like, oh, I'm using this to pay for luxuries. I never, ever. Like, I always used to.
It wasn't to do your teeth?
No, it wasn't at all, you bitch. No, but and I'll be honest, I even still, as a Christian, like, especially the first year, I would still receive and accept money, but I would feel convicted, and it didn't feel right.
It is a process, I guess. When you start feeling conflicted to actually saying, okay, no, it is a process.
I felt convicted to stop. And if you didn't ask for it and you didn't return it, I would feel so guilty. I'd feel like, oh, this isn't right. This isn't right. Even if I'm not giving my body, I know what I'm giving, though. It doesn't matter.
You're taking it like...
Nothing in life is free.
Exactly. 100%. And that's, I don't know, like, this is something that I feel, I sound like an old woman, not because, I don't think because my criteria is out of date, but because I just, like, what's going on with this generation? It feels like it's the norm. And don't get me wrong, I'm a strong supporter of do what you got to do to keep your boat afloat, right? So I'll never knock down someone for doing something, because you're never on someone else's feet, right? But between surviving and having to do what you got to do to keep your boat afloat, and I choose to do this instead of working a career, or just, like, instead of working, or do something with yourself. There is where, like, I don't feel like it's okay. Also, it's part taking advantage of people. Like,
unless it's transactional, like, unless it is.
But then you're a prostitute.
Right.
Like, you can call it however you want.
Well, no, I think sugar baby is sex work. Being a sugar baby is sex work, even if you're not selling sex with your body. I mean, Wheezy's show is selling sex without having it. That's literally the premise of her show.
Yeah, but that's not a prostitute.
That's sex work, though.
That's sex work, but it's not, like, it's different.
Sure. Yeah. We're talking, I mean, I'm trying to expand it. Prostitution is a form of sex work.
But so is...
Right.
Having a podcast about sex.
Yeah, I think
educating people about sex.
No, because I don't think Shan Boodram is a sex worker, but I think Wheezy and Call Her Daddy is. Shan Boodram she's not very...
Okay, what's a sex worker?
I think a sex worker is someone who sells sex and receives capital from selling said sex. It's very simple. Now... Shan
sells education.
I don't think sex education is sex work.
Got it.
I think when you talk about personal stories of your life, you're a storyteller, right? And you're exploiting those
experience, pretty much.
That is sex work. I don't watch Call Her Daddy that much, but shout out to that girl. She's done what she's got to do. She's the top earner. I mean, look at that. And she's younger than me.
Is she?
She's 26.
Really?
Yeah. I saw one little excerpt of something on TikTok, and it was about, she was recounting a story of her having sex in a car in so much detail. I had to stop. I don't even watch porn, but it was audio porn. If you sell audio porn, that is sex work.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
Which I guess Horrible Decisions doesn't really do much of it now, but their bread and butter was that. Of course, when you get older, that's why on the episode with Wheezy, I mentioned like I see you venturing out of that, you know, because I don't think that is something that most women. I'm speaking for women. I'm only a woman. I can only speak from my experience. As they mature, want to continue doing. They'll do another subset of it, like you just mature out of it.
I think men too. I think that both ways. Because like. I think it comes with, like you say, it comes with age. Because when we're young, we're all like, men are like this, like, oh yeah, I'm tapping this girl, you know? Yeah. But now, as they mature is when they become older, they don't do this type of shit.
Clara, this all stemmed from obedience. And when you said before, well, if you depend on it, like if you need it, if it's life or death, you would say there's nothing you can do. You have no other choice. Okay, but in my eye, or not in my eyes, but what my
Bible, I think that there's always choices. Like, but that's me, and now that's my layer. Mm-hmm. I would clean a toilet before I would shake my ass for money. Clara, but that's me.
Clara, listen, Clara. The Bible also tells us that if you decide to partake in those acts, you're not practicing faith. You don't have faith in God then. Because the person that does have faith would do anything else. You know, even if it means a fraction of what you could make with ease.
That's a thing. Okay, two things here.
This is a tough conversation.
I know. Here's the thing. Two things here. One, I get you refer to the Bible because that's your book text and like your truth, your religion, your faith. That's one of the things where I agree on the morals of the Bible, but at the same time, the Bible also says that sex with the same gender is bad. And that, for example, is one of the things that I don't agree on the Bible. But I get that you refer to the Bible because that's your...
It doesn't say bad. It says it's sinful. But it also says adultery is sinful. It also says
so you shouldn't...
a laundry list of things are sinful. And not one is better or greater than the other.
Yeah, but like, for me, sex with the same gender is like sinful is bad. Like to me,
well, no, because if you're going to say what the text says, say what the text says. It doesn't say bad.
Okay, yeah, but like to me, sex with the same gender is as valid as sex with the opposite gender.
I think it's valid too. It's valid.
Yeah, but sinful.
Yes,
I don't think it's.
I
sinful.
also think it's sinful.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I understand that because that's where we draw the line between believer and non-believer. Because to me, I don't go by the Bible, right? So when we're talking about partaking in one of these acts, and the Bible saying that this is like you're not practicing faith, is one of the points where I agree with the moral or the value or the. Okay.
Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down,
but not just because the Bible says it, just because like it's one of the things that we agree on,
right?
You know what I mean?
No, it's tough, or not tough. The discussion is sensitive, right? Because I just admitted, or not even admitted, I understand what the Bible says. I ran past a reverend who said that the Bible doesn't say that. It actually says that it was referring to, I don't agree with this man, but he was saying that the Bible was referring to same sex with little boys, little children. He was trying to break down the original Hebrew, and it didn't say anything about same sex. It said something about let's play the video here.
God calls homosexuality an abomination. God does love you, but he hates the sin. Read it. Where exactly does he say that? Leviticus, it's in there. Oh, Leviticus 18:22. You are aware that the original translation, if you were to translate it from the Hebrew, really says that mankind should not sleep with young boys. That's not what my Bible says. Because you're using an English translation, but in the Hebrew, that word means young boy. Furthermore, the Apostle Paul says that if we're going to follow any letter of the law, then we must follow all of the law. Well, I do that. All those pig feet, hog maw, and shrimp you be eating says otherwise. Well, that's not a... Oh, yes, it...
Actually, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, because there's not a single verse in the New Testament that talks about LGBT people and our relationships. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what about Romans chapter 1 and 1 Corinthians? Well, here's the thing. Both of those passages are talking about sex offered in worship to gods and goddesses. It's about idolatry and sexual exploitation. Romans chapter 1 literally says this. In Romans 1, it says, they exchanged the truth of God for a lie, worshipped created things instead of creator gods. They worshipped images of reptiles and four-footed animals, and then they were inflamed with lust for one another and exchanged natural relations with women for sex with men and women with women. The sex being offered is in context of idolatry. The same thing is true in 1 Corinthians. If you look, the word arsenokoitai and malakoi clearly refer to temple prostitution. And if you know anything about ancient Corinth, in the center of the city was a temple to the goddess of Aphrodite, where people would go and offer sexual sacrifices to appease the goddess. That's what Paul is condemning in 1 Corinthians. That's what Paul is condemning in Romans chapter 1.
Sorry, I had to interrupt the show. Look, are you tired of not knowing what stocks to invest in, or even where to begin? Then join the Red Panda Stock Club, babes. Started by Ian Dunlap, or as we all know him as the Master Investor, or from his contributions every week with Earn Your Leisure. There are a lot of people talking about investing, but none of them have the track record that Ian has. The proof is in the pudding. He called to invest in Moderna at 43 in April of 2020, and now it's at 408, which is an 820% return. Once you join the Red Panda Stock Club, here's what you'll get. The 4 best stocks to invest in for long term, the best entries on the planet, a year's worth of the best companies to invest in, the worst companies to stay away from, unlimited access to Red Panda for 365 days, and lastly, you also get a weekly meeting from Ian and the Red Panda family every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central, Aftermarket Mondays. Baby, if you're tired of getting your behind kicked in the market, or simply want to learn where to begin with all the tools at your disposal, Red Panda is the place for you. Go to joinredpanda.com and enter the code BIBLE to get 50% off the next 2 weeks. It's easy as that, babes. Clara, grab the champagne! Back to the show. People call me a progressive Christian, which I am.
I think you are, yeah.
I'm not willing to lie about what the Bible says, because I like to, being consistent is just as important to me as bathing daily. Like, I'm not gonna lie or mold the Bible in order to present it to the masses.
No,
that would be hearsay. That would be false teaching. That would be, So when
it will lose purpose of what you're doing.
By my conceding and saying, yes, the Bible tells us that adultery is sinful. The act of same-sex sex.
Same gender sex.
Yes, is sinful. What's the other? Well, give me another one. Give me a you. Give me another one.
I don't know.
There's
I read the Bible.
Yeah, but you're up. Damn it! Sometimes I wish you would, because it's like almost like sometimes with some topics, it's like the blind leading the blind. But there's a laundry list of them, and the first couple of years, that's hard to hear, right? Like, when you remove your own desires, your own self from the text, it makes it a whole lot easier to read and get to the next page, which is what we do in life, is process this information. I'm going through a really tough time with work right now. Get to the next day. It's almost like we're trying to get to the next page of the text while not losing the core value of it. Oh man, this is too tough. I did not know this is where the intro was going to go. Where did you even get here?
It's tough, but booty work, basically. Whoa, sex.
Booty work? Oh my God. No,
it's tough, but it also I'm going to say this, just one last thing I want to say about it.
Yeah, I'm not anti-gay. I'm not
I know you're not. I know you're not.
Yeah.
Of course, I know you're not. But no, I was going back to the booty work.
You say booty work?
Yeah.
Oh boy, okay.
It's like the booty, get the money, no?
Oh boy. You guys, Clara, everybody. Round of applause for Clara. Okay, what?
There's a difference. There's people that are sharp and they know their way through business to like and like use these waves to get where they want. So to me, for example, booty work. Cardi B used to be a stripper.
Mm-hmm.
She's a huge empresaria right now, huge CEO and like artist,
Entrepreneur. She just came up with a whipped cream. Yeah.
Black Chyna used to be a stripper. She sells pussy on OnlyFans right now, right? To me, what Cardi B did is admirable. You work your way. You had to do what you had to do at that time, but you have a career, you have a dream you're pursuing. Da, 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 da. The other one's only chasing money at any cost.
Oh,
like
I don't agree with that at all. Oh, keep going. No, you finish.
I know, I'm just saying, like, you're only actually just chasing the money at any cost. And to me, I don't know, like, to me, that, like,
Clara.
that draws the line. Cardi B, though, yes, I don't agree with, well, I don't know, at the same time, I don't know what situation both of them were when they would, like, start, like, being strippers, right? But, like, she's not doing it just to chase money blindly.
Okay.
Of course, whoever says they're not after getting paid is lying, because nowadays you can't survive without money. But okay.
Let me go because I'm about to blow my lid. I can say this as an ex-sex worker. I can say this. I have a voice in it. I have skin in this. You know, I can say this.
Go ahead.
And with all due respect, you're the outsider. You're the outsider giving this a very pointed opinion, which I'm here for, to listen to, not to agree with. I don't think that there's a difference between Miss Cardi B and Miss Black Chyna. The difference is Cardi B makes way more. They're the same thing. It's the same thing. One is more successful and has more notoriety and more accolades than the other. But it's the same thing. Cardi B sells sex to this day. There's sex in her music. She's a sex worker still. It got her there and she still is. She just got a job at Playboy. It's literally her brand.
All right. So maybe that's my line. Maybe my line is selling your body for money.
Selling your physical body.
Yeah. Or in pictures, like the other one's taking pictures of her
It's
pussy,
like, it's a bit
out
prejudice.
There. It could be, yeah. I'm not saying it's not. It could be. But I'm not saying, but again, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying this is where my line is.
No, you are judging.
Yeah,
we all do it. We all do it.
But like, that's what Marla, so this is like, for me, that's too much. Or like, that's like, you know, like.
Boundary for you.
Yeah. But if you were doing this today, I would have knocked you down because of that. Because you do you know what I mean? But to me, I could never cross that line.
How could you think, just to entertain me? Because you come from the same school of thought where consistency matters in people. That's why I always say that you have a lot of very Christian likeness, like stuff. So, sometimes it's more Christian than some Christians is what I always say to you. How would you feel if I sat on this couch calling myself a Christian and you knew that I was a sex worker or that I had sex for money? How would you feel?
That's your life.
How would your perception be? What we're talking about? We're talking about judgments.
I would just think that you're a hypocrite.
A hypocrite. Oh, okay.
That's because you're preaching something and not acting accordingly. I would just think you're a hypocrite. But the way you make your bread, I'm nobody. Yo no soy nadie to tell you how you have to live your life or make your money. I would, as a friend, give you my point of view and say, you could find another job, you know, like, but hey, if that's making you happy and that's
no,
like,
that would, no.
I know, but like,
okay,
that's another thing. I see it from my point of view. Like, I see it with my glasses on, right? So that's something that would make me unhappy because I would be in conflict. Because like, that's a boundary I could never cross. Like I said before, I would clean toilets before I would sell my body, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm all about like embracing, you know, like sex and all of that. But like,
you're okay. Yeah. Keep going. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
But that's a boundary of mine. Like, I could never cross that line. However, if you don't have any issues, like if that doesn't cause any internal, como que
An internal
confliction.
conflict.
Yeah, internal conflict. I don't agree with it, but that's your life.
You know what I don't?
I don't need to agree with it.
Yeah. By the way, that theoretical was just to entertain the thought.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think we're all a little hypocritical. I'm slowly realizing that.
Of course.
The older I get, we are all hypocrites. And we all like to call it out when we are hypocrites ourselves. Like, look at your own life, which is funny. Next week, our episode's going to be Jonah. And I can't wait to talk about it because that book literally is about a rebellious prophet, a bad prophet who puts the mirror back at us to look at our own flaws always. It's like, oh, you should read that book. Jonah and the Whale, everyone knows that. Okay, you don't know it. It's going to be a fun one. I think that we are all prone to some kind of hypocrisy.
Where do you see the hypocrisy in here on what I said?
I see it in your vocal support of sexuality, but then you draw the line at this weird, vague Clara line, which is, again, we all have them. And I guess I said weird. Let me take that back. I don't even think it's weird.
Fine, it's fine.
No, but I literally don't even think it's weird. You draw the line at this imaginary Clara line, and that's what I find to be a bit hypocritical considering the other things that you support. And I'm not even that married on it. I have to think about it more. I'm on the spot right now.
I guess
I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite.
No.
Hypocrite here.
You may not be wrong, but what it comes to my mind in response to that is fuck, it just left me.
Our mind. Okay, you said minds. I wrote a song called Mind is Dangerous, and there's one. What's the line? Our mind is dangerous, and I think that this is one of the ways, and I think this is where it lies, because then there are people making laws that have these blind spots too, and they're not consistent, and they better one group while keeping another group down. It's like,
oh no, it came. Sorry,
Okay,
it came back. So I don't think it's. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I don't think it's hypocrite because I still stand for the freedom of sexuality and not allowing things to happen. When I say what I said, I'm not condemning that people that do it should stop doing it and this should not exist. I'm just saying I don't agree with it. It's outside my boundaries, and it's not something that I would recommend a friend of mine to do, but that's my point of view. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm nobody to tell anybody how they should live their life. I do have a right to an opinion, and that's my opinion. Mm-hmm. The same way I would give advice to my friend on not to cheat on their husband or not to cheat on their partner, because that's not something that I'm okay with. And that's something that it's completely outside my boundaries. It's not something that sits well with me. Mm-hmm. However, if you decided to cheat on your husband, I wouldn't stop being your friend. I wouldn't, condemn people. Oh, let's kill everyone that's cheating on.
You wouldn't condemn your friend if she was cheating on her husband or
I would
partner?
I would tell her she's wrong. I would tell her I don't support it. I would tell her my point of view, but I wouldn't stop being your friend. You to me, you're still as valid as a person as you were before. You're just doing something that in my eyes, it's wrong.
It would make me look at them different. It would make me look at them different. Not in a sorry, we're bouncing from topic to topic, but it would definitely to know that my friend is being deceptive. What kind of pain is she going through? What's going on? That's not okay. I would that's
why you would advise her against it.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't stop being someone's friend because of that.
Thankfully, I haven't had to deal with I actually recently had to sort of deal with that a little bit. And I'm like, I don't know. It feels weird. If it's continued, it feels weird. If it's not continued, oh my God, that's like any other mistake. That's one and done. There's a difference between your habit. Whatever your habit is indicative of your character. And I don't know if I have friends with that kind of character.
Oh, that's another layer.
Yeah.
So now you discovered another face of that person. Now you have to decide if that's big enough for you to let that person go or not. You know how many people, and that's funny that we come to this point, because I was just thinking about this earlier. I've had so many close friendships in the past that I don't even talk to anymore. And it's always been because of that. I'm a very extremist person, okay? I'm black or white, that's it. And if I see something that I don't like, you're out. That's it. There's no way back. Every single one of my past best friends, something happened at some point in life, where I saw the real you or a new face of that I didn't like, not because of a mistake. Mm-hmm. I'm not stupid. I allow mistakes, of course, like we're human, right? But something that tells me your true colors, and that's something that I don't fuck with. Like, that's something that is showing, right? So let's say I don't like the same way I don't like adultery, or I draw the line where I draw it. I don't like stealing, for example. So if I see that you...
Another sin.
There you go. If I see that you as my friend one day leave the store because you didn't realize, that's fine. Like, that's a mistake. I get it. But if I see that you as my friend, you constantly go to that store, to that person, you start stealing, I don't want to be a friend anymore. Because you're not the type of person that I like or that I want around me. You know what I mean? So that's another layer. You have to put in balance, how important is that for you to keep that person in your life or not? Mm-hmm. Like, to me, adultery is something that I don't support. I'm completely against. I will never do. I've never done. I'll never do. But if my friend was doing it, I would say you're wrong.
You'd say you're wrong.
No, because I'm thinking.
Yeah,
if
say
I
you're
was
wrong.
No. Yes, that for sure. But then I was gonna say, but then if I'm also friends with the person you're cheating on, now I have conflict of interest. So maybe at some point, if that was continued, at some point we'd probably have to drop the relationship. But that's a very specific case. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like no. Listen, we really this is. I was going to go somewhere else, and I said, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't. Yeah, we've got a lot. I think we've pissed off at least 4 groups.
That's 4 minutes of recording.
I hope you guys enjoyed that intro. Let's dive into this week's story. It'll be short. It'll be sweet. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be on obedience. Let's go. Okay, cool. You know, wait, hi, Tangi. Are we going to get to this episode? Maybe we shouldn't do the episode. Hi, Tangi. Wait, hi, Tangi. There is this TikToker who does audio for movies. Like, she does like weird stuff, like crunch, or like cuando caminan, when they walk on stuff.
Oh, I love that.
She's the one that walks. Y tiene un cuerpazo. So when she's doing the TikToks, I'm like, diablo, like que mujerona. Like, that's why we're watching. That's why we're watching, girl. But there is this thing. She also does the sounds to like the kissing.
Oh, and they're like con la lengua and everything.
Pero aquí en su misma mano, like doing it. And in my head, I was like, that would be the perfect job for me. I've been alone so long. Maybe I should just make out with my hand, like when we were teenagers. Now, let's get into this week's episode. Like I said before, we're keeping it short. We're going to focus on 2 Kings chapter 14, and I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of 2 Chronicles chapter 25 just to provide supplementary information from the text. Here's our review ahead of what we're about to discuss. We already know that from last week's episode that King Joash, remember the 7-year-old king, he was killed by the people. Actually, he was killed by his servants because he killed Zechariah. Zechariah was the son of Jehoiada. Remember the priest that helped raise Joash? Terrible thing to do. So his servants obviously weren't about that, and they ended up killing Joash. After Joash was killed, his son Amaziah took place. I know these names, guys. Grab your notepads, grab your pens, grab your snacks, okay? Because it's going to get even more confusing when I tell you who was the king in the northern kingdom of Israel. The name was Joash also. But, in order to distinguish, we're going to use the pronunciation that's closest to Hebrew per the spelling, Clara, here. We're going to call the king of Israel, not the Joash that died in the south, the king of Israel, we're going to call him Joash, just to make it a little different. Does that make sense? Joash? Mm-hmm. Cool? Cool. Another thing to note for today's episode is that the Edomites are still beefing with the southern kingdom of Judah. That is something that is a tale as old as time. The Edomites in Judah have been beefing for forever, and that's still evident. Capiche? Capiche. Now, let's get into the story. So, 2 Kings chapter 14 starts with Amaziah doing really well, actually. Did okay, generally, much like a lot of the kings when they start out. They do okay. Even though Joash, his father, ended up being horrible, he actually picked up the baton and did okay. The first order of business, though, was to avenge the people that killed his father. Because technically, you're not supposed to kill a king. Like, even though they did, I'm sure a Bible reader would be like, yeah, kill him because he got Jehoiada killed, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but technically it's still, you're breaking a major law by killing a Davidic son. One of King David's, you know, even though King David's are generations before, but.
I'm scratching my head now because I don't remember. Was the first king appointed by God?
Yes.
So, because I remember, like, I love all these, like, kings and queens, like, old time shows. And they always claim that and in history also, like, kings always used to say that they were appointed by God, like, that God wanted them to be kings. And I wasn't remembering now if I was mixing history with Bible or not, or like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, more specifically, a prophet is the person who is to, like, anoint them properly. But for Abrahamic religions, it's understood that, or let me be specific, for in Judaism and Christianity, a king is a valid king is a direct descendant from King David, who was a direct descendant of Abraham. That's why they're called Abrahamic religions. Okay. Islam is an Abrahamic religion as well. Mm. These characters are the same in the Holy Bible and the Quran. Mm. Where was I? But yeah, 2 Kings chapter 14, we see Amaziah basically correcting what was done. Keeping up the law is really what he's doing. And he kills the servants that killed his father Joash. But unlike other kings in the past, he does not kill the family of the servants. Because normally that would be the next order of business. In order to prevent future generations from killing them for killing their family, they just kill them all. But here he said, no, the faults of their fathers and grandfathers are not going to be, it ends with them. You know, they're not going to kill the next generation.
I like that.
Which is kind of cool because we've seen God not do that. But here's the difference. They're not God. And God is always just. Like, we understand that there's only one all-knowing sovereign power, and that is God. So God can do it. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be God. It's not going to be man. Mm-hmm. Because how are you going to be able to manejar to drive that? To, like, how are you going to be able to be like, I'm going to do it with this one and not this one? Yeah, I'm sorry. We're sinners. We're not that powerful, if you will. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or at least that's what my text shows me and proves to me. And that's my text, and I'm a stand beside him. I'm a stand beside him. Wow. Hello, friend in the UK who asked me to be more myself on an episode. What you're watching right now, guys, is this is an outfit of what I would wear what I did wear today. Not the hair.
The wig, yeah.
Yeah, but the beanie and
That's how you show up when we have meetings and we just like hang out.
This is me. This is real. This is me. Do you know that song?
No.
I'm exactly where. High School Musical? Clara's an immigrant. Every time I'm around you, I'm like, wow, you are my baby. Like my mom, I think being raised by two immigrants, which is different because you're an immigrant, but you're so young.
I'm the immigrant, yeah.
No, I know, but I have such my heart really calls to immigrants. I don't know why.
Yeah,
that's why sometimes when we talk and I say something, I'm like, my mom may not know what this is. I'm going to also tack it.
Oh, I love when you do that. Especially on WhatsApp. You keep sending me these like screenshots of Google Translator and like meaning of stuff. Because you know that's the next step that I'm going to do. When you say certain words, I'm like, what the fuck? And then I see the definition. I'm like,
Yeah. And also, why not make it easier? Like, and I always I don't do it sometimes because I don't want to be like, I don't want to overstep. But if I know this is a word that even most Americans don't understand. Imagine you. It comes from that, not from like me thinking you definitely don't know. It's because I know that Americans don't know what err on the side of caution means or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Now, there's a text that supports this notion that even though Amaziah did deeds that were okay, not bad, not good, neutral. The text in 2 Chronicles chapter 25 tells us that he was not a wholehearted man. So that may be the origins of they always fall. They always fall, you know? Let's go into the text for more context. 2 Chronicles chapter 25 verse 2. Prophet Ezra says, he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, but not wholeheartedly. They always fall because Amaziah ended up leaving the high places of worship for other gods. He leaves them up. And that's just, it always, Tara Lee Cobble at the Bible Project, the Bible Recap, pardon, she said something in her evaluation of this text where she said, worshiping other gods or keeping the like high places for other gods up is like losing the last 5 pounds, she says. It was so great because that really is it. It always is like that last little bit that you just can't remove. Why? What is it about it that has those grasps on our hearts? That's a difference. Remember what I was saying, the difference between God and people? That's a difference. It's like a little spot on our heart that como que no se quita. Like you're trying to take it off. You're trying to Febreze. You're trying to, and Febreze it. Your heart smells. Or you're trying to just like Windex that little spot in your heart. And it's like, it can only be cleaned by Jesus Christ. But what I wanted to say was, she does comedy, guys. She's just making jokes here. She's just making jokes. Wow, this really is a crapshoot of an episode. Not the word of God. Please don't take my irreverence for anything other than
performance.
Yes, sure. This is just, So back into the story. Amaziah leaves the high places up, and the next boo-boo that he does is he hires Israelites in the north, an army of them. He buys them, Clara, in order to help beef up his army in Judah to fight the Edomites.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if y'all remember from this episode, but generally speaking, the north is evil. The south is more decent. Remember, we came up with that thing? Even though they all fall, they're a little more decent. And of the David line in the south in Judah. The fact that Amaziah even thought to do that was like so abysmal. He ended up paying Clara. He hired 100,000 soldiers to fight with him. And again, the Bible recap, she said that it was the equivalent of like $1.5 million US, which at that time was
Even more.
a gajillion
Yeah.
dollars. The fact that Amaziah did this. So then a prophet comes up to Amaziah and is like, don't do this. They are evil. In fact, let's get exactly what he says. Let's dive into the text for a little bit more context as to what the prophet told Amaziah. We're going to go to 2 Chronicles chapter 25, verses 7 to 8. But a man of God came to him, Amaziah, and said, Your Majesty, these troops from Israel must not march with you, for the Lord is not with Israel, not with any of the people of Ephraim. Even if you go and fight courageously in battle, God will overthrow you before the enemy. For God has the power to help or to overthrow. That's, and here we are. We're talking about obedience, right? Mm-hmm. God has the power to help or overthrow. Well, what follows is that Amaziah becomes a bit fearful when the prophet says that. And he says, okay, fine, I take it back. We're not going to fight with the Israelites. They're not going to, he sent them back.
Yeah.
And Judah and Edom ended up fighting alone. Mm-hmm. Even though Edom was super strong and far outnumbered Judah, the Lord gave Judah a victory. Now, there's always a con. It's kind of like the concept of duality, good and bad, light, dark, chaos, order. It's like a core principle in theology. Like if something happens here, something bad happens. If someone loses, for example, Judah wins here, Edom loses. Yeah. At this point, the Israelites that were called off, sent home, they're pissed. They're mad. They had their time wasted.
And their army.
Yeah, we asked for time off for this. And they end up going to Jerusalem and pillaging the neighborhood. I mean, they ended up killing like 3,000 Judeans. The Israelites ended up doing that. So now, Amaziah is short $1.5 million US. But here's the thing. He did win that victory against the Edomites. So it's like, what's the cost of obedience? The price of obedience is costly, but so is the cost of disobedience. The cost of obedience costed Amaziah and Judah 3,000 people. But I can tell you something right now. The cost of disobedience would have probably cost him 300,000 people. You know? It's just and like I was saying before in the intro with, when I stopped accepting money from being a sugar baby, like, what's the cost? Well, I don't get to have my luxuries. I don't get to get my nails done all the time and like the way I want, and I don't live as comfortably as I want. Yep, that's the cost of obedience. Welcome to the club. It's not always what you gain in spirit far outweighs what you see externally, period. Not to mention, I've said it before, but once you compromise your morals and your values, even if you don't see it immediately, something's gonna chip. Something's gonna have to be sacrificed. And it's gonna happen whether you see it or not, whether you choose to see it or not. Now, after that huge win with the Edomites, Amaziah is so cocky. I mean, so cocky. It's almost like, it feels like a rookie winning the Super Bowl. Like he is just so elated. And the fact that he did it with a smaller army, I mean, it's on him. We know that the Lord did this. He ends up doing some backwards stuff. Like he ends up worshiping other gods after that win. Like that's how lost this guy was. And the second act of pride is that Amaziah ends up writing a letter to Fulano de Tal, Joash in the north. And he ends up writing him saying, hey, we should meet face to face. Let's, I I think it'd be nice. I think it's about time, because he's cocky now. I think it's about time we meet face to face. Your people ended up messing up my stuff, blah, 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 blah. And of course, he sees this like, you want to fight. And I mean, I would too. If I was a king and I saw another king say, let's meet, let's square up, automatically I'm going to take my earrings off. I think you want to fight. So guess what happens? Joash ends up being like, oh, you want a war? Let's do a war. And here's the thing. The Israelites are so much bigger than the Judah army. So and guess what? They end up whooping their behinds. I'm talking about I'm talking about a sweep. And not only that, they end up imprisoning Amaziah. They hold him captive.
Oh my God.
Yes, up in the north. And I mean, eventually, I'm going to speed up the story, but eventually Amaziah ends up escaping, but then they find him again. He's like a little cockroach that won't ever die. But then they end up killing him. They end up killing him after he escaped captivity and was later found and then killed. And his son, so now Amaziah is dead. And the next king in Judah is his son, Azariah. Yes, I know the names. The names are a bit confusing, but if you supplement Bible stories with Brianda with reading, it's a little easier to understand. Hopping back into 2 Kings chapter 14, we have Amaziah's dead. His son Azariah takes over in the south. But in the north, Joash dies. And his son that takes over is named Jeroboam. Does that sound familiar? Yes. This is actually the second Jeroboam in history. We called him JayJay, remember? Mm-hmm. Remember from this episode? Remember the divided kingdom? JayJay? Did we call him JayJay? Yeah, I think we did.
JayJay, yeah.
It was Ray and JayJay. Anywho, this isn't that JayJay, obviously. This is generations later. But he's known in the Bible as JayJay the second. Okay? JayJay the second was Joash's son up in the north. And of course, he's an evil king in Israel. He's evil. We already know this. But despite him being evil, JayJay the second did a lot that actually favored the Lord's plans. Mm-hmm. Evil people sometimes don't know that the Lord, I said this before and I'll say it again, nothing can divert God's plans. If you do something, he sees it, bloop, 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 recalibration. Oh, kind of like a GPS. When you recalibrate, if you take the wrong turn and it automatically gets you another one.
That's a good one.
Imagine that. That's what's happening here. And it's so cool because in towards the end of 2 Kings and a little bit in 2 Chronicles chapter 25, it discusses this big restoration of Israel. Everyone knows what this is. JayJay the second was known for the era in time where spiritually they were really corrupt, irredeemably, but there was this big restoration. Let's hop into some scripture to hear more about this. 2 Kings chapter 14, verse 25. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, JayJay the second, the son of Joash, king of Israel, began to reign in Samaria, the capital of Israel. And he reigned 41 years, and he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart from all the sins of JayJay, the son of Nebat, the first one, which he made Israel to sin. He restored the border of Israel from Lebo Hamath as far as the sea of the Arabah, according to the word of the Lord, the God of Israel, which he spoke to his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, who was from Gath-Hepher. For the Lord saw that the affliction of Israel was very bitter, for there was none left, bond or free, and there was none to help Israel. But the Lord had not said that he would not blot out the name of Israel from heaven, so he saved them by the hand of JayJay, the son of Joash. Al final, what the Lord is saying here, or what the prophet is saying here, Prophet Jeremiah, is that the prophecy says that the Lord was going to restore Israel and he was going to destroy the evil kings. But that did not mean he was going to destroy the people of Israel. It's kind of like that same thing that Amaziah at the top did, said, like that kind of act of not punishing the group. Which again, any example of that I see in the Old Testament by the Lord is like, see, the Lord isn't always at the extremes, you know? So we're finalizing the episode on that button. You saw me say a name, Jonah. Jonah was a prophet that actually was one of the prophets that was at the right hand of JayJay. There were two, listen, right now I'm thinking of two prophets off the top of my dome right now that consulted with JayJay the second. One was Jonah and the other was Amos. Now, Jonah, being the little rebellious prophet that he was, which we'll get into next week, stay tuned, babes. He tells JayJay, you are doing everything so well. The Lord has favor in you. He told me himself. Lying. Chisme. Like, I like chisme, but I like chisme when it's right, you know? And then Amos says, no, what he's saying is wrong. He's saying the opposite of what's actually occurring. The Lord has zero favor for you. This is not it. Don't take this restoration as anything about favor for you. You're about to die. So, you know? So I'll leave you guys with that. That was a little sneak peek. But the rest of the story will happen in next week's episode with Prophet Jonah. That'll be fun, I think. And I know this episode was a little short on the Bible story, but we're just playing with things, playing with formats here. That's what podcasters do. Like, and the first 100 episodes of any podcaster is experimenting. So. Exactly. Wait, translate what you said because some people don't speak Spanish.
I don't know. Our tongue, I don't know how to translate it.
Our tongues slipped. We had a lot of slip-ups. We're calling this show a crapshoot episode.
Look.
Is that a Spanish thing?
You don't like when you talk too much? You don't say that? You don't do that?
We don't do this, no.
Oh, girl. It's like, you know, like the old lady cuando hay chisme.
Oh.
Because I don't know, se coge el bolso like, cuenta.
Oh, no, that's that has to be a Spanish thing.
So because it's like, I guess I'm doing this, but it's like this, but the fast version is like.
Ah.
So it's like,
oh, yeah, we talked a lot today. And, you know, I don't really say much. I'm in my house with my cat, reading the Bible and contemplating life. Wow.
I'm going to take you out.
Clara!
I mean, it's a little cold. Let's wait until next week.
It's like 16 degrees, I know. Anyways, let's get into moral of the story.
Let's go.
Moral of the story is grown people gonna do grown people things. And that includes making decisions today that dictate how our future and the future of our families will be. Could you imagine that kind of responsibility? And it's not my place, nor any of our places, to force decisions on people. We can only try and be wholeheartedly kind in our own lives and hope it rubs off on those around us. I mean, we could help point people in a purposeful direction. But like I said, at the end of the day, grown people gonna make grown decisions. And I have a hunch that the Lord is in on it. I mean, look what happened today in 2 Chronicles chapter 25, when the man of God confronted Amaziah for hiring Israelites to fight against the Edomites. He said, "These troops from Israel must not march with you, for the Lord is not with Israel. Even if you go and fight courageously in battle, God will overthrow you before the enemy, for God has the power to help or to overthrow." Yeah. That's bone-chilling stuff, guys. Well, look who it is. Hey, Father. Yeah, that last line really just sends chills down my spine. So yeah, about my hives, what are we going to do about them, God? God, please help me. Please heal me. They hurt. I just showed my butt for the internet. I'm probably going to regret that 20 years from now, Father.